No, some of us might be concerned over something very simple, thought control. And in many cases, small battles are waged across the United States every day in courts and public opinion polls. And some might consider it thought control, not the more modern version of thought, but we're thinking a little bit older version. The thoughts that you have or opinions you may hold. And one of the things that's very contentious these days is gun control. Um, and gun control can hit us in any number of ways. I don't know if any of you have ever been involved in a school lockdown, but I certainly was in high school. And that was over a random person who was believed to have had a firearm, and it shut the school down for about 4 or 5 hours until we were given the clear. Now, in reality, the person never knew. But to be cautious, that's what we've done. But that's the thing. We live in a free society, or at least we claim that we live in a free society. And the question I see about myself is, are we truly free? Or what is the limitation of our freedom? And it's and to take this from another perspective, if would you take claws from a cat or teeth from a dog? Now, you might say, well, that's no comparison at all, but in reality, the human mind is what's allowed us to crawl our way up from, I guess you could call it our savage days, where we fought with rocks or fists. I mean, naturally, the only weapons we have are basically blunt force instruments. Um, and really, that's not truly effective. After all, a tiger disembowel any one of us fairly easily. But the one thing that has allowed us to get ahead is our minds. And one of the things with our minds is we develop ways to concentrate energy or to use energy in a different way. And you might say, well, that's a bit odd. We're talking about gun control. Well, yes, guns are in many ways the end result of an evolution concept, and that is to concentrate power in an easily managed form. The most basic of this is like if I can, and to do it safely or to make me that much safer than what I may be opposing. Say take a tiger hunt for example. You know, originally you're talking rocks and pointy sticks, maybe pointy sticks. But very quickly we learned that maybe if we take this stick and another stick and we take this rock and we can make it a very sharp and pointy object, and maybe that'll do more. We were proven right. And so you go from now a spear where I have to get close to something to, well, maybe I can throw that spear, and then maybe instead of just throwing that spear, I can make this device to throw the spear. And there's two different versions of that, and what's called an, I'll probably get this wrong, I believe it's an atlatl. And an atlatl is simply a lever that increases the distance that you can throw a spear or specialized spear, which is a javelin. Well, in many ways, that evolution has seen us through the modern times where we have now mastered metallurgy, material sciences, and chemistry to a very large extent. And the most current iteration of those are firearms, quite simply speaking. Firearms, explosives, what have you. And it's very interesting that we look at it as being essentially the devil. And really the question is, well, if it's the devil, why does it take man to make use of it? Because really, in the end, the use of an object, a gun is nothing more than a tool in the end. It's a relatively advanced tool, as I said, using chemistry and metallurgy and other sciences that we've developed. But in the end, it is the decision of the human being to do harm unto another human being. And quite frankly, that's what's more of an issue than a tool. There's this thing bandied around, assault weapons. Well, in reality, an assault weapon is nothing more than a weapon used in an assault. The term was first solidified in gun circles, really at the end of World War II, meaning a weapon that could be used much more easily, portably, on the move, to use so that you could assault a position. Because that was something that was incredibly stymied. Well, that term was then taken over because we have this other term, assault, which is basically a person attacking something else. And technically, you can assault an animal, or you can assault a person, or you can assault an object. But in the end, the question is, do we rip out our claws because we're fearing that somebody's going to? It's almost a, do you feel that your neighbor every day is going to attack you? If your neighbor's going to attack you, would you rather be able to be ready for it? Would you rather something that could even out that possibility? And a gun is simply that object. A gun, in the end, is actually a great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, child or elderly, as long as you can use the tool effectively. You can look down at sights, you can pull the trigger, you can understand how it works, then you don't need to worry as much. You will be able to use that device to protect yourself. You will be able to use your claws to protect yourself. And quite frankly, the change of terminology or the fear mongering of it is not going to change it. After all, communism has done terrible things around the world. Every year, people keep going, certainly it could be better. In the end, though, it's human behavior that determines what that object does, or what that series of thoughts do.